We're back again with another stimulus check update for you for today, August 8th, 2020. And make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end of the video. That way you don't miss out on the special bonus that I have in store for you at the end of the video too also as well. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that way YouTube can promote this video and we can get it put in front of more people so they can watch it. And YouTube can promote our channel as well. Make sure you share the video and make sure you subscribe using the button below if you haven't already. And today we're going to be talking about $400 unemployment extension from President Trump's executive order signed today, and also includes student loan pause student loan payments, addressing the student loan debt crisis of 2020, and a payroll tax deferral, and rental help in the form, and also eviction moratorium extensions to also as well for the stimulus check update for today. And that's what I have in store for you. So let's get right into it here. Basically, what happened today was Trump signed an executive actions after the stimulus talks had pretty much took a dump on Friday yesterday. Okay, because both Steve Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, they both walked out of the meeting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer with no deal at all. Okay, and they made a comment saying that they would return to negotiate with Pelosi and Schumer if they present something new, some type of new offer that they haven't heard already. So basically today, President Trump, he signed 4 executive orders today, and one of them will provide as much as $400 in enhanced unemployment benefits, which 25% of that the states are being asked to cover. Okay. And so the states are being asked to cover $100, and the federal government is going to cover the other $300. So the other 3 actions that he signed include a memorandum on a payroll tax holiday, which actually, in my opinion, is really not a payroll tax holiday. It's not even a payroll tax cut that we was expecting from Trump. From Trump continuing to talk about this payroll tax cut and payroll tax holiday. I don't believe it's any of those, okay? And I'll explain in just a minute. So basically, this payroll tax holiday for Americans earning less than $100,000 a year, he made an executive order on assistance to renters and homeowners too also as well, and a memorandum on deferring student loan payments. There's a quote from President Trump that he said at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. I'm taking action to provide an additional or extra $400 a week and expanded benefits $400. Trump said $300 or 75% of the enhanced aid will come from the federal government, and $100 or 25% will therefore have to come from the states. Since governors would have to pay that $100 for people to get the full benefit, it is not clear how many of those unemployed will be able to receive the full $400 benefit. That's, in the case that some governors decide not to participate, right? Now, this was issued shortly after Trump's news conference said that up to $44 billion from Disaster Relief Fund would be made available for lost wage assistance to supplement state payments. But when asked about the president's executive action asking states to pay 25% of it, an official from a northeastern state run by a Democratic governor laughed. We don't have that money, the official said. So this official went on to say that they were not giving any heads up on this executive action, and that in the wake of the pandemic, their funds are completely tapped. So we know this. A lot of the states' funds are exhausted already. Okay. In fact, states have asked Congress to provide them with additional $500 billion to help shore up their budgets, which have been crushed by the loss of tax revenue amid the pandemics. So this has been one of the main points of disagreement between the Democrats, who they want to allocate additional aid, and Republicans, they don't want to bail out the states, so what they say are badly managed states. Now, millions of Americans who file for jobless benefits have drained several states' unemployment benefits trust funds. Already, 10 states have borrowed nearly $20 billion from the Treasury Department to cover their share of the payments, which typically last 26 weeks, according to a report from CNN Politics. Now, when asked by a reporter on Saturday why $400 instead of the previous $600, Trump responded, "This is the money they need. This is the money they want. This gives them a great incentive to go back to work." So basically, he's saying that he don't want to give the people too much money, so that way they are making more than they were when they were working, so they won't want to go back to work. He wants them to go back to work. Okay, that's basically what Trump meant by that. And he went on to say there was a difficulty with the 600 number because it really was a disincentive on getting people back to work, he means. Now, Trump administration officials had maintained some people received the original $600 extra benefit would not have an incentive to work because they were making more with unemployment aid than they did in salary. So likewise, Republicans haven't wanted to continue the $600 supplement, which expired July 31st. It was part of the historic expansion to the nation's unemployment benefits program lawmakers passed in late March, because they say it could delay people's return to work. So when combined with state benefits, about 2/3 of workers make more than they earned at their former jobs. According to a University of Chicago study that found this, GOP lawmakers initially floated giving the jobless a $200 supplement for 2 months, then a payment that would provide 70% of the laid-off workers' former wage when added to state benefits. Now, Democrats, on the other hand, say the economy is still weak and the jobless need the $600 to pay their bills. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell praised Trump's executive actions and continued the partisan finger-pointing, blaming Democrats for having sabotaged talks. Now, struggling Americans need action now, said Mitch McConnell in a statement today. Since Democrats have sabotaged backroom talks with absurd demands that would not help working people, I support President Trump exploring his options to get unemployment benefits and other relief to the people who need them the most. Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had criticized Trump's executive actions, describing them as meager and accusing the president of not grasping the severity of the current crisis. Now, Pelosi and Schumer said in a statement, "We're disappointed that instead of putting in the work to solve Americans' problems, the president instead chose to stay on his luxury golf course to announce unworkable, weak, and narrow policy announcements to slash the unemployment benefits that millions desperately need and endanger seniors, Social Security, and Medicare." Now, what she's talking about there, folks, Social Security and Medicare, is the payroll tax, okay? The payroll tax, that 7.65%, is what funds Social Security and Medicare, okay? And Trump is putting a pause on payroll taxes for now, but I'll get into that very shortly too also as well. But how it can risk Social Security and Medicare is Trump is talking about terminating it. He did mention the word terminate. Okay. Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden called Trump's actions half-baked. This is no art of the deal. This is not presidential leadership. These orders are not real solutions. They are just another cynical ploy designed to deflect responsibility. Some measures do far more harm than good. This is what Biden said today in a statement. Now, Trump said he believes that the unemployment aid would be rapidly distributed, even though there are potential challenges over the legality of the executive action. Democrats are likely to challenge the executive actions in court. Trump first laid out the executive actions at a hastily called news conference yesterday at his New Jersey golf club, where he said he wasn't concerned about the legality of the actions he promised. At least one Republican criticized Trump's efforts at executive policy making, specifically in regards to the payroll tax. The pen and foam theory of executive lawmaking is unconstitutional slop, said Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, said in a statement Saturday night. President Obama did not have the power to unilaterally rewrite immigration law with DACA, and President Trump does not have the power to unilaterally rewrite the payroll tax law. Under the Constitution, that power belongs to the American people acting through their members of Congress. Wow, they're really lighting Trump up here about this payroll tax. The payroll tax cut is one of Trump's favorite tax moves that both parties had imposed, including in his latest stimulus bill. One of his memoranda calls for deferring the employee portion of payroll taxes, 6.2% for Social Security, 1.45% for Medicare, for workers making less than $100,000 a year through the rest of 2020. If he's reelected, Trump said he plans to forgive the taxes and make permanent cuts to the payroll taxes. We've yet to see that, right? There's a promise right there from Trump. He said, I'm going to make them all permanent. Otherwise, presumably, workers would have to pay the taxes at the end of the year. So basically, this is not a payroll tax cut, what Trump signed into executive order. What this is, folks, is a loan, okay? So basically how it's going to work, just a general understanding of it is if you made $1,000 this week in your paycheck, then 7.65% of that is for payroll taxes. And you will, instead of having that taken out of your check for Social Security and Medicare this week, you should not have that taken out of your check this week. So it's going to be basically a temporary additional 7.65%. So a temporary $76.50 a week. That's if you make a paycheck of $1,000 a week. Okay. So that can add up to a lot of money, right? If that goes on until January, being that this money has to be paid back and is just a deferment or a loan, you could end up owing the IRS over $1,500 next year if you don't have that money set aside for this. Okay, so I'm pretty much trying to prepare myself by having extra money taken out of my paycheck to prepare for paying this money back next year. Okay, or what I could do is the same amount that they used to take out in payroll taxes, I could ask my human resources department to take that same amount out every week. So that way, the money is right there in case they want their money back next year. And they probably will, right? Unless, like Trump said, he's going to make this permanent and terminate the payroll tax, like he had said also. The controversial measure, however, wouldn't do anything to help the unemployed people because, a lot of them, they don't pay payroll taxes and would likely weaken the already strained finances of Social Security and Medicare because payroll taxes fund Social Security and Medicare. So that could be bad for the future people who are planning on retiring on Social Security and Medicare. Okay. Now, Trump also says Saturday his administration was looking at additional income tax and capital gain tax cuts for American taxpayers. Trump said, we're going to be looking at capital gains for the purpose of creating jobs, and income taxes is self-explanatory. It would be income tax for middle income and lower income people. But middle income people who pay a lot of income tax, you have tax inequality. I'm saying that as a Republican, and you do have tax inequality, Trump said. He did not provide further details. So all we have is his statement on that. So that's the news for today, basically. And the 4 executive orders that Trump signed today, I'm going to name them off by their names, okay, because they're available on the whitehouse.gov website for your viewing if you want to see them right now. The first executive order is called Executive Order on Fighting the Spread of, the C word sickness. YouTube doesn't allow us to say that word for risk of being demonetized, right? So the name of it is the Executive Order on Fighting the Spread of C word sickness by providing assistance to renters and homeowners. Now, that's the executive order that covers rental assistance. It also covers eviction. Well, it offers rental assistance. It also offers an eviction moratorium extension to also as well, and other financial relief for those people who have been affected by the C word pandemic. Now, the second executive order that Trump signed today, that's also available on the whitehouse.gov website, is called the Memorandum on Deferring Payroll Tax Obligations in Light of the Ongoing C word sickness disaster. Okay, and that covers the temporary pause on payroll taxes. So right now you don't have to pay payroll taxes. They're gonna pretty much stop taking payroll taxes out of your paycheck until next year. Okay, but keep in mind, next year you have to pay this money back, because this is just like a pause. And backtracking to the eviction moratorium, the eviction moratorium is not saying that you don't owe the rent money. All it's saying is that the landlord cannot evict you right now until next year, but you still owe the money in rent. Okay, so hopefully, if you owe money to your landlord, you have a lump sum of money every single month of rent that you did not pay in January. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to have problems, from the eviction moratorium for not having a lump sum of money when the eviction goes into effect, to pay their rent, to keep them out of being evicted. And a lot of people are not going to have all of this payroll tax money to pay back the IRS next year either. So now the third executive order is called Memorandum on Continued Student Loan Payment Relief During the C word Pandemic. This puts a pause on student loan payments all the way till next year. Okay, now we know that the CARES Act put a pause on it until September 30th. Trump's executive order today extends it till next year. And the last executive order that he signed today is called Memorandum on Authorizing the Other Needs Assistance Program for Major Disaster Declarations Related to the C word sickness disease 2019. Okay, and this one here, pretty much explains the benefits of the extended unemployment program and the $400 a week in extra unemployment money payments that's being paid out to individuals too. Where the way this works is the state will pay $100 of it and the federal government pays $300 of it. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Big news today. Good news, could be bad news too, in a way is both. It's a little of both. But that's all we have right now, because Congress, the Democrats, the White House, and the Republicans, they cannot seem to come to an agreement. They have not made a deal as of right now. Okay. That's not saying that a deal will not come. Okay. It's still a possibility that a deal can still come. Okay. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they could come up with something else, some brilliant idea that calls Mnuchin and Meadows back to the negotiating table, and they work something out, and boom, we have a deal. Then the Senate put together a bill. Then the Senate can vote on it. It can get passed through the Senate. It can go to the House. It can get passed through the House, signed by President Trump. Folks, we can still have a second stimulus check. We can still have a next stimulus package too also. So this is, I don't believe this is over. It's just been, in limbo right now until some new developments come about. But that's all I have for you. Make sure you join the Facebook group. It's free to join. And you could, by joining that group, you can get more stimulus check update info and useful information to help you out. If you haven't gotten your stimulus check yet, you haven't got your $500 check for your dependents, you're interested in rental assistance, hazard pay, mortgage assistance, whatever the situation is with you, assistance with utilities, just let me know in the comments too also as well. And what do you think about all of this here? And let me know what state you're from also. And make sure while you're in the description, you see other links there for free money and other helpful resources too also. The down arrow right here below the video will get you into the description, should open up, and you should see other links there with other useful information and resources too. So for now, from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score LLC family, stay safe, be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Bye for now. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them.